Hey everybody, how you doing? It's South Florida's restaurant guy, and you can't sell restaurants all day long. Sometimes you got to do other stuff. So it's a rainy Sunday here, and I've got some ingredients for a batch of Imperial Blonde. So we're gonna try that. It's a new recipe. I think this is about my fifth homebrew that I've done. Now I've been using these packages. I know a lot of people have been asking me how this gets done. So I'm kind of walk through everybody through it. So buy these packages that come already pre-done. Next one, I'm going to do my own recipe. I've got some help from Corey, the brewmeister over down at Crazy Uncle Mike's. We're going to do a video on that coming up, just to kind of see how this process transfers over to the big industrial process. I'm curious to see how that is done on a major level. So that's going to be interesting. So for the kits, you just order these kits. This is Brewer's Best. Little thing here to go through and take notes, which I'm terrible at. You got to do a better job at taking notes. Everything needs to be sanitized. That's the main thing I want to tell everybody. I was just doing some kombucha, and kombucha you don't want to use like antibacterial because you don't want to mess with that SCOBY. Just the opposite here. You want everything sanitized. I use the stuff like we used to use in the restaurants. It's the brown iodine that goes in the water. I've got buckets over here off camera. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to put this in. This is basically your tea. You're going to steep this 115, 120 degrees, and then once that is good to go, you're going to boil it. And once you boil it, you're going to add your malts. So these are your sugars. You're going to add your sugars here. So you got a nice little rolling boil going. You're going to throw these bad boys in there. Usually good to put these guys in warm water while you're waiting because it's very thick. So if you can heat it up a little bit, it makes it a little easier to work with. You want to get as much as that in there as possible. This particular one, actually, for the first time, I'll be adding corn sugar as well to that sugar process. Once you get that going, what you're going to do now is there's basically what we call the boil. So you're going to do an hour boil. With this one, we're going to have 3 different hops that will get added at different times. That's what gives it the profile. The hops kind of counteract the sugar so you don't have that sweet flavor. But also the yeast eating up the sugar also eliminates that. So these are Palisade pellets. So we're going to start off with the highest acidity. Then we're going to move into the Cascades, which are pretty much used in almost everything. And then Kent Golding. So if you look at the acidity on here, it goes from 8.4 to 7.8 to 6.0. These go in like right in the beginning. These will go in about a half hour in, and then the last 5 minutes we're going to finish off with that, and that kind of gives it its flavor profile. Oh, actually this is going to get added too to the sugar process. A lot of upfront. All this stuff going in there is something I haven't really done before. Usually a lot less. So, and then once that's done, the main thing is you're going to boil that for an hour. You're going to take it off, and then so you got about 3.5 gallons to start with. Let's go ahead and get that going right now. So I've got my pot here. Some people use pots this big. I don't like to because you'll see when you throw little hops in there, they'll kind of explode. I mean, they really start to foam up. So I've had some pretty decent kitchen messes in here my wife would tell you all about. So I've got the water here ready to go. We've got our water softened and cleaned. We also filter it through again. It's got a great flavor profile to it now. So we're just going to add this, about 3.5 gallons. You're going to make 5. So 3.5 is like a concentrate to work with. A lot of it's going to evaporate off. And then what you're going to do is, let's get this water in here. Oh yeah, the most important thing I forgot to tell you guys about is mood and music. You're going to be here for a while, so grab your guitar, your laptop, and get your timer ready because it's all about timing. And get some good tunes playing. We had some Counting Crows going, little Ray LaMontagne. It's a rainy Sunday, so set the mood, man. It gets into the beer. This tool over here, this thing, sanitize it. We're gonna get sanitizer going. Sanitize it. Once we get that hot mix out of there, we're gonna drop this in. We're gonna run our hose out through here, and this is going to help bring our temp down. Temperature has to get down under 79 I played safe, get it down to 75. Why? Because after this, we're gonna pitch yeast. And if we throw yeast into a hot environment, it's gonna die. So you don't want it to die. Otherwise, you wake up in the morning the next day and there's no bubbles. And if there's no bubbles, that's no alcohol. If there's no alcohol, it's not beer. Anyway, so that's pretty much everything here. We're gonna get this thing boiling up. Don't want to go to 170. You got to keep it around 120, 115. So, and I'm working with an electric one here, so it's kind of you got to take your time. You know, if you try to get the boil up and then bring it back down again. So I like to get it hovering where I got it nice and controlled at about 120. And then you're going to steep your grains for 20 minutes. After that, you're going to pull your grains out. We're going to we're going to put the malts in there, get it boiling, and then we move into the hops phase. Anyway, I will keep it going, and we'll talk to you soon.